Hello viewers, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Myths and Mysteries, and today we're looking at a very interesting mystery, actually linked quite well to real life. It's really quite a good mystery, I think, in my opinion, because it brings in real life stuff, and also allows us to speculate on just in-game stuff too. So we're talking about the Parfum Palace and the Parfum Palace Hedges, mainly for the back. Now outside Parfum Palace, at the back, we have the Hedges, obviously, stuff, and there's also a statue of Reshiram, statue of Zekrom, and there's other Pokeballs, there's 6 Pokeballs and thing, and stuff like that in the Fountain Centre, stuff like that. Now usually when you're in Parfum Palace, you wouldn't really care, you just go there, you do stuff with the Furfur, and that's it. But if you look at the overhead view, when you look at it in the guide, you can see that the hedges are shaped in a very particular way. Look at them. You can easily see already some of them there. The bottom left hedge is a chandelier. You can see its 2 eyes in the centre, and then it's its things coming off the top, and its flames coming off the top of it as well. The bottom right hedge is actually a pyroar, as you can tell by looking just exactly at its design. Is exactly the same as the hedge. Then the top right hedge is obvious, it's evidently a solar rock. You can see the eyes and the bits outside. The top left hedge, however, we have no idea what it is. I don't know, I couldn't find anything, no one knows, no one's predicted. Well, people have predicted what it is, but no one knows what it is. It's really weird. So that's what we're going to talk about today, really. Now, what does the fact that these three Pokemon here mean? Well, actually, chandelier, because it's based on a chandelier, sort of represents wealth. So that's why there's a coins there, because wealth, it's a wealthy palace, that sort of represents wealth there. The pyroar represents royalty, because you often see lions around, especially in France and the UK, I think, to represent the protectors of royalty, stuff like that. And then the Soul Rock is a reference to Louis the 14th. I said Louis the 14th. Louis the 14th, sorry. He was the 14th king or the 14th Louis, king of France, sort of thing, and he was known as the Sun King. I think something similar to that. That's the Sun King. So that's obviously where that sort of inspiration comes from, because this is pretty much based on the same sort of place, I guess. It's based on an area in France, and in my opinion, the whole castle sort of thing is based on the Castle of Versailles, which is near Paris, obviously the capital city of France. And that's what we're going to be looking at now. Now, behind the Palace of Versailles, we also have... Did I say the Castle of Versailles? I meant the Palace of Versailles, rather. It's Louis XIV's palace, so it sort of links in with the sun there. There's the sun god and the Soul Rock and everything. But if we look at the gardens behind the palace, you can see that there are several gardens. There's the Bosquet, that means garden. So Bosquet de l'Etoile, Bosquet de Ronvert. Sorry if I'm a terrible speaker of French, it's been a while. Bosquet de la Girandole. Loads of stuff there. But what do each of these mean? Well, in particular, we're looking at 3 of these so far. The first one is the Bosquet de l'Obélisque, which translate loosely as Obelisk Grove, but obelisk is said to resemble a petrified ray of the sun disk. From Wikipedia tells me that, okay? Because this is Wikipedia stuff. So sun disk, Soul Rock. So that's sort of the Bosquet de l'Obélisque is sort of linking the Soul Rock there, or the top right sort of garden, I guess. Then we have the Bosquet de l'Etoile, which translates to the Star's Grove. Now it's a bit far-fetched. Oh, dropping in puns there. But male Pyroar's mane sort of resembles a star. Sort of resembles a star. If we look at it, it's sort of got 5 points coming off, 5 yellow points, so it could be then resembling the star there. Okay, so that's 2 out of 3 of the gardens done. Now, if we discount the garden to the left of Bosquet de l'Etoile, which is Bosquet du Dauphin, and move on to Bosquet de la Girandole, or Girandole, that translates to Chandelier's Grove. Now, what do we have there? A chandelier. So that very much fits in there. So we have the obelisk, or the sun disk, we have the, what was that called? The Star Grove, and then we have the Chandelier's Grove. So we have, Soul Rock, Pyroar, and then finally the Chandelier, or Chandelure. Now in this space where it's very tricky though, because we obviously want to we need a hint to help us figure out what is in the last one, because we have no idea. It's a square, it's got 4 points on the other side, and that's pretty much all we have. Its face is nothing to go off at all, so we just really have no idea. It's not very obvious what it is. So there are several possibilities here. I'm going to go through them all. I'm going to put the least likely first and the most likely last. So the first one is Salle des Marronniers, which is obviously another garden. It's obviously it's closer, but it's not sort of in the right place, or it could be in the right place. It's in the right sort of area, but it's not exactly, it doesn't take the whole garden up sort of thing. Anyway, that roughly translates to the chestnut room. So the only thing you could really think of that is chespin or chestnut, but chestnut doesn't really look like, its face doesn't look like that at all, or its body doesn't look like that at all, so that wouldn't really fit too well there. The next one I think is slightly more likely, but not quite as likely, is Jardin du Roi, which is Garden of the King. So it could be something like to do with a king-like Pokemon like Tyrantrum, but Tyrantrum doesn't look like that thing there, does it at all? Or maybe something with a King's Rock of some sort, maybe something evolves via King's Rock like Politoed, etc. I don't quite know. The next one up there, after this, is just the fact that we have a garden called La Colonnade, which is in the sort of, it's again, sort of in the right section. It's the same area as Salle des Marronniers. Jardin de Roi was like sort of really far over the left. And anyway, so La Colonnade was obviously it's a structure. The colonnade is a structure built with a long sequence of columns, because that's what actually is the garden is. But there's not really a Pokemon that can resemble columns, to be honest. So it's not very likely, unless of course we get some new Pokemon this generation again, with obviously the new region and stuff like that. Then, the next one between La Colonnade and Bosquet de l'Obélisque, we have the Bosquet de l'Enclinade, which is the Grove of Enceladus, which aside from being a mythical character, is also one of Saturn's moons. Hence, Lunatone, could be Lunatone there. That would kind of work with Solrock and Lunatone, but then again, the garden doesn't really look like Lunatone at all, does it? I mean, it could, but it's too wide for it, really. The design is too wide. So that doesn't really work there. The next one up is Bosquet de Dôme, or Grove of the Domes. So we know a Pokemon that has Dome in its name, or its species name, is Heatran, the Lava Dome Pokemon. Does Heatran look like the garden? I guess slightly. I guess it looks a bit like its head, at least, but it's not an amazing sort of similarity there. However, the last one, which I think is probably the most likely one, is the garden, which is sort of, there's a bit more south. It's Bassin de Mirior, which is Mura Fountain. And that would be Bronzor, because if we look at Bronzor's Pokédex entry, which sort of allows us to get the actual reference to Mura here, we can see written in Bronzor's Pokédex entry once it loads for me, because I'm unprepared as usual. Bronzor's Pokédex entry states that, where are we looking here? Yes, talking about ancient tombs, Bax power, but then platinum. There are researchers who believe this Pokemon reflected like a mirror in the distant past. So, obviously we're talking about distant past here, because that's when these hedges have been built. So maybe Bronzor it does look a reasonable amount like Bronzor sort of thing. It's got sort of the right pattern on the outside. It has the wrong number of circles on it, because normal Bronzor has 6, whereas this one has 4. But maybe we're looking at ages in the past here, so maybe past Bronzor only had 4 bits on the outside, and maybe their face was shaped slightly differently. Or maybe just something like that, or it could be a Bronzong as well. You've got to think about that too. But really, that's all the different sort of ways I can think about it. So, what does this really mean? To be honest, I don't know. It could be a future event if you maybe took a Pokemon, or took these 4 Pokemon and an item to the thing you got to battle Reshiram and Zekrom. Possibility, but I doubt it, because I don't know. Or maybe you have to take a Reshiram, a Zekrom, a Chandelure, a Solrock, and a Pyroar, and this last Pokemon to the place, and then maybe an event occurs or something. People have been trying for months to figure this out, and there's no luck at all yet. So really, it's all up to speculation. It could just be a fact that it's like, a little Easter egg sort of thing we have, and then obviously just references to the real life there. So there could be no actual in-game resemblance or reference behind it, but it is very interesting to think of anyway, because I love how they put the real world stuff in the game. We've got clear references to 3 of the gardens here. We have the garden. I can't remember to say it. Bosquet de l'Obélisque, obviously for the Solrock. We have Bosquet de l'Hôtellerie for the Pyroar, and we have Bosquet du Dauphin for the Chandelure. So I really like how the Pokemon Still Game Freak do it as well. I do remember that before or during Development of X and Y, I think the developers said they went to France, obviously for a trip, just to sort of research and stuff. So I'm pretty damn sure they went to the Palace of Versailles and obviously saw the hedges, and they were sort of picked out the hedges that could be linked to Pokemon and put them in the game. And I love how they do that. It makes the game so much more, you know, sort of adds depth to the game. It's not just hedges. They're not just hedges. They're actually hedges that first resemble Pokemon, and then second actually sort of go out to real life as well, which is really just cool to have, you know. Anyway, what do you guys think of this sort of mystery? What do you think the last Pokemon is? There was other suggestions that it could be Bastiodon, however that really hasn't sort of been backed up by the Garden theory there. There were suggestions that maybe Bastiodon could like refer to a castle wall, because obviously it's sort of a palace, a castle, sort of a similar thing. But I don't really think that's going to happen. It doesn't look a huge amount like Bastiodon anyway. The face bits is, the face is square, so that sort of fits there, but it doesn't work amazingly well. Anyway, guys, what do you think of this mystery? Tell me what you think the last Pokemon is. Tell me in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button for some more mysteries soon. They're not brilliant. They're not easy to make these episodes. I just have to, research a bit and find one to do first of all. It's not just a case of doing it like a Let's Play or whatever. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I certainly enjoyed making it for you. I guess I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, my friends.